Hello, wonderful people. This is Stoneflower, and you've tuned in to Stoneflower Tarot. My aim here is to help you find your footing, gain deep insight, and discover the strength within you. Grab your cup of water or your mug of tea, settle in, and let's uncover some truths together. Today, we're asking a question that invites hope and vision. What is your oasis on the horizon? This reading is all about what brings you peace and abundance as you look ahead. Think of it as the serene haven, the source of vital energy that's coming into view for you. Take a deep breath with me. Great. Close your eyes for a moment if you like, and really feel into what kind of peace or fulfillment you're seeking. When you're ready, open your eyes and intuitively choose one of these three piles. Each holds unique insights into the oasis that awaits you. Pile 1 is the pink dolomite pile, for those drawn to perhaps gentle healing and emotional comfort. The second pile, citrine, is radiating warmth and representing joy, abundance, and clarity for those who might be looking for a little bit of that. Pile 3, the blue quartz pile, symbolizes tranquility, clear communication, and calm intuition. Take your time, pause the video if you need a moment to see which pile is truly calling for you. Once you've made your choice, you can skip ahead to your chosen timestamp, which will be at the bottom in the description box below. Welcome, pink dolomite pile. For those of you who chose the pink dolomite, you're probably drawn to gentle healing and emotional comfort. Your oasis on the horizon hopefully will bring you peace through emotional processing, acceptance of hidden truths, and ultimately guiding you towards renewed hope. The cards we have with us today are the Moon, the Hierophant, Five of Swords, and the Star. I've also pulled some clarifying cards, but I'll discuss those later. So what I'm getting off of these cards is that it seems like you've been perhaps navigating some shadowy or somewhat emotional terrain. Maybe going through financial crisis or a recent breakup, but something that you don't feel you can see the other end of. You're having trouble finding clarity. And maybe perhaps, besides confusion, illusion, but maybe something tied to your past that is kind of hard for you to process emotionally or at least consciously. So there's a lot of what the moon represents. The moon card represents kind of illusion and sort of self-deception even. We also have the Five of Swords, as I said, which does speak to recent or past conflicts, misunderstandings, perhaps even defeat. And it's about recognizing that the battles that you fought in the past, you had to sacrifice something. Like the victory was maybe not as large or not as balanced as the things you lost. I'll talk about the clarifying card. I'm also seeing the clarifying card. I have the Eight of Cups, and I just feel like this probably indicates that there's at least maybe a progression from the Moon card, at least some clarity that you've been able to gain since the beginning of this ordeal. And maybe you're leaving behind the past, but not very heavy-heartedly. It's kind of the feeling I'm getting. The Eight of Cups is, you've been through a lot, but it also means that you made a choice to walk away. And I think that represents, the Eight of Cups here represents sort of some internal fortitude, some internal strength, that no matter what came before, you had what it took to move yourself away from either a very triggering situation or a very trickery or, sort of very emotional, heavy, burdensome situation. I'm not necessarily getting that this is about any particular topic. So it could be romantic, it could be job related, family related, friendship related. I'm not really getting any indication on what kind of situation this is. Yeah, but let's talk about the other cards. So we have the Hierophant, as I said. The Hierophant shows you the path of clarity. It's not just sort of about, it's about light and dark. So it's not just like going into your shadow work, but you also have to connect to inner wisdom. And I feel like shadow work, especially in like these sort of communities, is sort of about beating yourself up a bit. And I feel like the Hierophant is saying you found a balanced middle ground between seeking wisdom, internal wisdom, or even spiritual guidance, and sort of like self-harming or really doubting yourself, being very hard on yourself. And that's also supported by, it's clarified by the Hangman. There's a lot of major arcana for this spread. So whoever's picked the pink dolomite, I think whatever is being said here is sort of you're getting a lot of spiritual support is what I'm sensing. So yeah, back to the Hierophant though, but it's about seeking out information from trusted sources, which again could be your inner guidance or your guides, or whatever spiritual practices you kind of have that kind of give you strength. If you haven't already sought out this wisdom, this is what gets you away from the moon energy and towards the final card, which is the Star. So if you haven't already done so, and again, if you have the Hangman supports the Hierophant card, if you haven't sort of seen a different perspective yet, then this is an indication that this is what you need to do. You need to go towards inner wisdom. You need to go towards your guides, your spirits, source, whatever feels supportive to you, that is, non-human, non-earthly realm, whatever helps you feel centered. Let's say it like that, centered. Maybe it's even meditation. Go towards that, because there's something that you need to see differently. And it's, I would say, like, it feels like you know what it is, I feel like whoever's energy I'm picking up, I feel that you know what it is. And it's something that you're kind of like, I don't want to do this. But for a long time coming, you've known that you have to make this change. And I think so we have the fourth card being the Star card. The Star card also is the clarifying card for the moon. And I think that this is the opportune time for you to make this change. So perhaps in the past, you weren't so much committed to changing your mind about something, or to seeking guidance from a mentor or, spiritual guidance for whatever reason. But doing so now will certainly bring you out of the sort of shadowy space of the moon, and it will bring you away from the Five of Swords, which is essentially the card of defeat. I would definitely say that this would be really helpful for you if you haven't already done so. But speaking to the people who may have already done so, the Star is such a beautiful card to get for this reading. What is your oasis on the horizon? The Star is your oasis. This card represents hope, inspiration, healing, guidance. It assures you that you're navigating uncertainties and conflicts like perfectly, almost. Like you're going to end up on the right footing. You're definitely stepping into a period of calm, clarity, new beginnings. And it feels like this oasis is a feeling of being truly aligned and divinely supported. The Star card, which is so lovely, is clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is sort of maybe my favorite mother card, but I get a lot of, I get reminded of my interior stability when I see this card. She's also very beautiful. And every deck that you have, if they have like human figures, the Queen of Pentacles just tends to be like the most grounded, beautiful figure. And I think that is such a wonderful indication of what kind of healing you're looking for, or looking forward to be looking forward to if you're not already there. But yeah, healing and support and groundedness. And it's also you, you know, this pile, pink dolomite pile, there isn't anyone else here. There's just kind of the singular person on the journey. So I'm sort of kind of getting indication that you may be on a solo journey, and you have, you know, probably got banged up a little bit, some dings in you. And I'm sorry about that. And I just want to say that I think that your oasis, if it's not already here for you, is going to be sweet and satisfying. And it's going to bring you a lot of peace. And I would say as well that maybe if the past conflicts, whatever the Five of Swords is talking about, involved others, this might be a good time for you to practice self-forgiveness as well as forgiveness for others. There are lots of techniques for forgiveness that I utilize personally, but one that works well when I'm having trouble letting go of something is I will imagine the person apologizing for the things that they have done to me. And this is a choice, right? This is a choice. You can choose to heal. And sometimes I'm like, I actually want to stay mad at this person for a little bit longer, even though I know I have this tool in my backpack. I'm not taking it out for them. I want to stay angry. But yeah, just visualize, close your eyes, visualize a human being, visualize them apologizing for the specific detail as possible, the things that they did to you. If you can, the clearer you can see them saying it, and the clearer you can hear the words in your mind, I feel like the more powerful this kind of, I don't want to call it a mind trick, but this exercise is, or has been for me. So yeah, try forgiveness practices, whatever those look like for you. If this is about another person or a past conflict with somebody. And if you're feeling like perhaps you're not truly interested in forgiveness, like I mentioned, sometimes I'm just like, I still want to be mad at that person. Just remember that what's awaiting you on your horizon is inner peace, stability, and the Star card. And the Star card, again, I'll remind you, showed up twice, not only as the fourth card, but it's also clarifying the Moon card. Yeah, let me see if anything is stepping out to me. I'm getting a little bit of, I'm coming out, you know, with the Queen of Pentacles. As I said, like, there's a lot of like interiority here. There's a lot of solo dolo time, but I really do feel like with the Star card that you're gonna shine. I mean, we can say that about the Star card always, but especially because it's being supported by the Queen of Pentacles energy, I really do feel like you're gonna be a star. You're really going to like shine. And what I'm liking about what's coming off of this is it doesn't matter to you who sees it or who doesn't. Like, you're going to have so much inner peace that's all that's going to fill you up. You're going to keep drinking from that cup of like, I'm self-satisfied, and that's hot. You know, that's hot. I don't know. Yeah, I really hope that everyone who's picked this pile is enjoying this, but I think that like, if you don't feel hot, boy, are you going to be. You're definitely going to be knockout gorgeous to yourself, but also I think people are going to take notice. And I think, you know, to Pink Dolomite pile and anyone who's decided to listen to this one, this is just a reminder that troubles, turmoils, they're not long lasting, or they're not forever. So if you are struggling right now, just remember that there is an oasis at the end of the tunnel. You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things can change little by little. And also, this is maybe a reminder, if you have self-tools, a guided notebook, a guided workbook, meditations that you haven't done in a while, they might be really useful to you right now. I would say, especially with the Hierophant being supported by the Hangman, I think that might be extremely beneficial. Yeah, and if this is sort of like a past energy for you, I'm really happy. You know, write a comment down below about what that was like to you, like for you, or if you practice any specific like forgiveness practices, please let us know down below. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Sorry, because this audio is being recorded the next day, I forgot to pull out a message from Spirit. So these are messages that I've written down and kind of keep in a bowl next to my cards and where I do my writing and spiritual work. And I wanted to make sure that I kind of made sure to tack this on the audio of this recording for you guys. So the message from Spirit for the pink dolomite pile is: every ending is a new beginning. Embrace transformation and change. Every ending is a new beginning. Embrace transformation and change. I think this resonates with a lot of the things that I mentioned, wherever you are on this journey to your oasis. If there's things that you need to let go, if there are hardships that you've experienced that really, really hurt you, that you're really, really, really upset about, that you're sort of still unwilling to let go and release, not pretend it didn't happen, not like be a tough guy and pretend you don't hurt, release so that you can grow and heal. I think it's kind of a reminder, the Spirit message is a reminder that the time is now to do so. And that, you know, the transformation is worthy of the success that you will receive from kind of making that first step towards a new life for yourself. Again, you have two stars pop out. One is a signifier, significant card, and one is a supporting card. So there is also this kind of energy of healing for this pile. And if healing is already on your mind, I'm feeling that then hopefully this reading resonates for you. Just take the next step. I'm not saying it's not difficult, but I found in my personal experience, it's sometimes often harder to not change than to actually change. When we're changing, when we're growing, when we're trying new things, we kind of get lost in the journey as opposed to being stuck where we're at, and being stuck not just with fear, you know, being trapped by fear. And I'm not trying to minimize anxiety or fear, but anxiety and fear makes us feel like poop. And trying new things at least allows us the opportunity to feel new emotions and to have new experiences, to have new things to talk to our best friend who lives 2,000 miles away about, you know? So do it. Do it for the podcast voice notes you send to your friend, if nothing else. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today in the What is Your Oasis on the Horizon reading. I hope that these messages brought you clarity, hope, excitement for what's ahead. If this reading resonated with you, please give the video a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate that. And definitely subscribe to Stoneflower Tarot for more insights, and share this with somebody who you think might need to see their own oasis. Until next time, take care, and may your journey be filled with peace and discovery. Bye for now. Hello, for those of you who resonated with the CITRINE pile. I feel like the CITRINE is certainly embodying warmth. It's radiating warmth, maybe abundance and clarity on the horizon for you, certainly triumphing over burdens and any sort of challenges that you might be facing. I think your oasis on the horizon has to do with possibly transformation. Certainly, I see with the card, with the tarot, a lot of victory for you. I'm going to pull some clarifying cards before I continue. If you bear with me. All right. Oh boy, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. Okay, great. You can't maybe look at what I'm seeing, but there's so much fire energy here, and there's a lot of representation of certainly the fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Perhaps you are a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, or you're dealing with somebody who is, there's a lot of energy, I think that I said that the citrine is sort of kind of evocative of transformation, but it is really apparent. There's a lot of yellows and oranges happening here. So it seems like, in my opinion, especially with the Six of Wands, that the Oasis on your horizon is success. But it's success that you are earning through dynamic energy and lots of transformation. Which, from what's showing up, doesn't necessarily seem like hard, like that you're worried. Like, it seems like a change needs to happen, and maybe you're finally ready to accept that change is what it's your next best step, So the Five of Wands can connote, or can talk about chaos, internal conflict. Competitive energy is often what it's related to. So if this has to do with relationships, or maybe, a work theme, there might be some competitive energy. And the Five of Wands is supported by the Judgment card. So for me, that's just sort of an indication that please behave in alignment with what you know to be good and true. So don't play dirty. Don't play dirty. And also, I think the Judgment card supporting the Five of Wands indicates that if someone has been playing dirty with you, dragging your name through the mud, playing kind of psychological games with you, Some people use their fists, but they're people who just talk about you to the people they know will do the most damage. So if that's what is going on for you, first of all, I'm truly sorry. But know that is going to end. Because right after the Five of Wands, we have the Death card, which we all know is major, major transformation. And so it also feels like your Oasis is pretty significant. Undeniably transformative. And I think that is exciting. And I hope that you're excited about that too. The Death card, not to just move past it, but it is supported by the High Priestess. And perhaps, maybe you do tarot, maybe you have some deep spiritual relationship. But I think it also feels like you might feel guided, or deep down what to do. And perhaps you have some inner knowing, so therefore inner calm about these next stages. I really feel like this time of deep transformation is not scary for you if you're going through it right now, right? Again, you could have picked this pile because it sort of resonates with you, but it's a past energy. But if this is a present energy, I feel like, first of all, you're on the right path. You're getting the Judgment card, so you're well within the realms of good karma for this lifetime and the next. And I think that if you have sort of a relationship with interior knowing, interior knowledge, spirituality, definitely continue to develop that. I think that is probably very healthy for you, and going to continuously lead to transformation in your life. And so, yeah, it might be really wonderful if you kind of keep strengthening your abilities, if you have spiritual abilities, if you do tarot, for example, even automatic writing, which is not necessarily a spiritual gift, but a lot of people receive great guidance, self-guidance from automatic writing. So even something like that, just trust yourself. You have some fountain of wisdom and knowledge inside of you. And I think following that truth will take you pretty far. It's going to take you to a full explosion of transformation. So yeah, definitely trust yourself, Okay. The next card we have is the Six of Wands. I feel two ways about this card, but in this reading, I think it's freaking fantastic, especially if, as I said previously, it's a competition. You're having competition with somebody who's maybe bike betting, or kind of what's the word, petty. Like if you were in competition or like having a disagreement or maybe in a community conflict, a group conflict with somebody who's petty and just like doesn't ever carry the weight of conflict resolution, you're going to have victory. You're going to have victory. And I want to say that, like I said in the beginning of this section, like this is the Oasis, the victory that you're going to receive, recognition. This might be recognition in that same friend group, or just kind of the self knowing that I've triumphed over somebody who was like trying to keep me down. But I do feel like there's going to be positive affirmation. Like people are going to know that whatever was being said about you, for example, was wrong and unfair. People are going to, you should feel, if that feels good for you to hear, you should feel good that you're going to be vindicated. And I don't get the feeling that you're a person who sort of plays dirty games. I don't get that feeling at all. I think you might play it small, actually. That's kind of the energy I was getting with the first few cards. I feel like you're someone who might play it small. But this victory is important because it is supported by the Nine of Swords. And if you're familiar with her at all, that card is anxiety, insomnia, nightmares even, lots of worry. And this worry isn't just like overthinking, you know? Like somebody put those 9 swords there. It's a heavy emotional burden, a heavy mental burden. And if that is what somebody else did to you, I am genuinely sorry that something or someone created such negative impacts on you and made you have such worried thoughts. But I want you to know that that time is over. Like you are going to experience victory. You are going to move away from that heaviness and that worry. And I'm grateful for you choosing this pile, because I'm really hoping that this is confirmation that if you've struggled with something at all, the time for it to be done is now. It's over. You know, claim that, believe that it's over. Believe that your worries and whatever you're struggling with, you will get victory over your troubles. I'm feeling a lot of like, I'm feeling a little sad feels like this person also had to go at things not necessarily alone, but you felt alone, you know, like you felt like even if you are in community, you felt isolated, maybe because people didn't believe you, or you didn't know who you could trust, you didn't know who you could turn to. I'm sorry for that. There's something else, like Spirit is trying to tell me. I'm hearing the word guided. So I don't know if you feel you're being guided to the truth. And I guess we could also say you're being guided to your 6 of Wands victory. But if you have a relationship with spirit or with source, definitely practice gratitude. If you have ancestor practice gratitude. Be grateful, because they're with you. They are with you. They see what you've gone through. They're sorrowful for what has happened, and they want you to know that they have your back, you know. I'm really sorry for whoever's been experiencing this energy. Okay, and we have the 2 of Wands, which clarifies more for me that you're on the precipice of planning your next big move from a position of strength and achieve goals. It's 6 of Wands and 2 of Wands. So you have victory, and from the victory, you're planning for your future. You're planning ahead. You've already achieved goals, and from that sort of foundation, you're setting off into, you know, greener pastures. You're going to kind of make your name for yourself, if that relates. You're kind of claim your spot, your mark. You're going to make your mark. But it's also a bit strategic, I guess. So if it's something that you're doing, if it's not sort of like a community issue or a work thing, make sure you're planning, I guess. If you ever, I could say, organizing your thoughts happens for you, jotting it down, leaving a voice note for yourself, make sure that you just take a few minutes, 5 minutes today, to plan out your thoughts. I think that that would be extremely useful for you. And yeah, be strategic. And I'm really excited. I'm waiting to tell you this, but the Two of Wands is supported by the Sun card. So I'm telling you to make sure you plan it out. You get everything down on paper, or however, if it's recording, whatever format method you use. Make sure you kind of clarify yourself what it is exactly that you want. Because I have this feeling that what you want wants you back, you know, like it kind of feels like maybe some of that Nine of Swords energy, maybe you're worried that this won't happen, but I think you're going to be good. But be bold with the Two of Wands. Be very bold and believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to succeed. I love that the Six of Wands came before, especially if sort of that Nine of Swords is not other people's energy, but your energy. You have the victory. So focus on what is going well for you and use kind of that proof that you have of what's happening positively for you in the present to build off of an even greater future for yourself. Be bold in embarking on this new adventure. You are supported by the Sun card, which we all know is the happiest card in tarot. So I think that, and the Sun card is also about expansion. So this might have to do with a move. This might have to do with either physical move, maybe moving across state or moving to another part of the town, or moving up in a company. But it's about expansion, physical, emotional. And if this is about a relationship, this is about a relationship that kind of, there's a lot of fighting, maybe even a breakup with the Death card, or a long period of suffering that you had to, somebody called it quits for sure if this is a romantic relationship. There's victory from that choice. And Two of Wands, if this is romantic, be clear on what you want from this relationship. Write down what you want to happen, because I think the card is saying that there's enough supportive energy for you to actually get what you want out of this life, out of this relationship, out of this partnership. So name it and claim it, I would say, for sure. And also make sure that you are being positive in your thoughts about what can happen for this romantic relationship, if that's what it is, or if it's work. Be positive. Claim kind of the victory of a promotion or a pay raise or a bonus, etc. It feels assured. It feels assured, you know. Yeah. And I'm going to pick up, I forgot to do this for the last pile. So if you're from pile number 1, I will remember next time. But I just want to take an extra message from Spirit and see. I pre-wrote this before. It says, you are deeply loved and supported. Allow this truth to ground you in every moment. I think that goes perfectly with the reading. I'll read this again. You are deeply loved and supported. Allow this truth to ground you in every moment. So whether this be Spirit or friends or partners or somebody who wants to be your partner who's around you, you are deeply supported. Just remember that. You can rely on others at this time to kind of plan your future and to take those next steps towards the Sun card, towards expansion and happiness and positivity. You can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, okay. So thank you so much for joining me today with the What is Your Oasis on the Horizon reading. I truly hope these messages brought you clarity, hope, and excitement for what's ahead. If this reading resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Stoneflower Tarot for more insights, and share this with someone who you think might need to find their own oasis as well. Okay, Until next time, take care and may your journey be filled with peace, discovery. Bye for now. For those of you who are drawn to the blue quartz pile, it symbolizes tranquility, clear communication, calm intuition. And it seems like the oasis on the horizon for you is about establishing a solid foundation, finding inner peace amidst upheaval, and making balanced, mindful choices for your long-term security. We have the cards, Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, the Tower, and the Two of Pentacles. So I'm kind of getting a lot of grief. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and she's very stately, dignified, but also extremely generous. And the Queen of Pentacles is supported by the Five of Cups, which is the card of grieving and oftentimes betrayal. And first, I definitely want to say I'm really sorry if that's something that you've experienced. Yeah, it feels pretty... I feel, though, kind of, especially with the Queen of Pentacles energy, like, you have a strong backbone. Like, you're sitting up straight, you're perhaps really sad, you feel betrayed, but you kind of have sort of an internal compass, an internal guidance of what is good, what is right, and you're not going to act out of character despite what has been done to you, what has been said about you, what, negative experiences you may have recently been through. Yeah, and if this is sort of a future energy for you, I don't think you should be concerned, or you shouldn't be afraid that you won't make it out. I don't feel that you have kind of those fears as the Queen of Pentacles energy, to be quite honest. But the Nine of Pentacles comes next, and that is, again, the card of worry, It's a card of anxiety, and that card is supported by the Six of Swords. So I'm taking this two ways. It's either a reminder to kind of leave those tumultuous, those boiling over waters, to leave that behind you. There's a lot of emotion here. Five of Cups, Six of Swords supporting these two first cards, the Nine of Swords. There's a lot of emotion here, is what I will say. And if you haven't already done so, this is kind of telling you that you fully are able to walk away, to transition, to go someplace that is more healing, more nurturing of you, better environment. And it's the perfect time to do so. So if you are in the middle of sort of this betrayal or whatever this grief is being discussed with the Five of Cups, you can get out of it, is what I'll say. Grief and worry with the Nine of Swords too. I will say that the Nine of Swords, there's something like old, if that makes sense. Like, it's something that you worried about for a long time, or something that's happened before. I feel like the reason perhaps you have so much grace and dignity is because you know that even though it hurts, it won't take you out, And I'm really sorry again that if this is a pain, or maybe even an illness, some sort of repression or suffering that you've experienced before, but you can make it out. You can take the Six of Swords route out, and you can transition to something that's much more nurturing and much more healthy for you. We have the Tower, which, as you all know, is a card of upheaval and upset, and it sort of doesn't necessarily always announce itself, depending on what reader you're looking to. Excuse me. They'll say it either comes out of surprise, or you knew it was there but you resisted it. And I feel whichever way it was, unexpected or expected, it still feels sort of, takes your breath away. So I would say also, lean on your inner Queen of Pentacles. If you know what's happening, just don't fret, don't worry too much, because you know what's happening, so you can come up with the game plan today. Or if you don't know what the game plan is, you can seek support from friends, family, coworkers today. Also, the Tower, something about foundation. So again, the Tower is about sudden upheaval, but there's something related to the Nine of Swords to me that it makes it feel like it may have been something that, again, like you've experienced before, something you've been worrying about for a long time. And I think I want to say that, let me just pull up the clarifying card, actually. I'll post the cards I use beneath the video if you're interested. Or you can ask me in the comments if I forget to do so. Okay, I took 2 cards wanted to come out. Okay, we have 7 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups. Clarifying the Tower card. So, again, more earth energy here with the 7 of Pentacles. And 3 of Cups can either mean reunion or friendship. And so I'm now seeing this so many different ways. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to try to talk to what, I guess, the different storylines that I see popping up here. 7 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups with the Tower card could be relationship. It could be a relationship that you put a lot of energy into. Maybe you knew that maybe you're having a lot of worry and you weren't certain, maybe especially that you experienced some grief in the beginning of it, you weren't certain if you should keep on, but you did keep on, and maybe they even put you in a third party situation. I don't know what this Tower is saying, but there's a lot of like suffering. Sorry if you hear the ice cream truck outside, but there's a lot of heaviness. And throughout it all, you sort of maintain the knowing of who you are. And I'm very proud of you for doing so. But this is hard. This is a burden, you know, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords, and the Tower. Like that is, it's hard. It's hard to it feels really hard for this to have been going on, especially if it had been going on for a long time. But what this also talks about in the context of a relationship is the end of a cycle. The end of you putting in effort into something that's not working out for you. So that's one way of seeing it. 7 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups supporting the Tower. Can also mean stability and support coming from friends. I mentioned earlier, like reaching out to people who you think might be useful at this time, and I would definitely recommend, even if this is a romantic issue, to reach out to anyone who you think might be able to guide you, just support you, just to hear you out, like make you laugh through this hard process. 7 of Pentacles is also about reflecting on your journey. So if it'll be useful for you to journal out like what has happened, maybe in the past 7 days, if this is a work thing or romantic thing, or the 7 months, like really clarify what has happened and try to notice how each of the occurrences made you feel. Is this something you want to keep giving to? Right? And the 9 of Swords and the Tower kind of tell me no, you know? But just so you know, just so you can maintain that self-stability, the Queen of Pentacles, just remind yourself of what you came from, you know? And again, if you can, rely on communities, rely on friends to kind of to big you up and to tell you that you're doing great. Because I think that, you know, if you have that opportunity, it'll feel really soothing. And the Tower card was supported by the Ace of Wands. So this is a card of taking action. And I would say that, you know, I've never in my life got the Tower and the Ace of Wands, and I'm so puzzled by it. But it seems like it's also telling you to like strike the match, you know? Like if you know something needs to blow it up today. Don't wait any longer. Take action. And bring down something with a crappy foundation. So, you know, I'm not giving anyone specific advice about how to end a thing, but I would say that it feels like you're being supported to take an action, at least to sort of develop new ideas. I think that it's saying as well that some power of manifestation is coming from the tower moment. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The tower can be hard. It can be difficult. I've definitely experienced lots of tower moments in my life, but I think either the hard work you've put into it and is going to pay off, or your friends are going to be able to help you, your community is going to be able to help you get through this moment. And I think that, I think in the end, this is going to be a right step forward for you to move away from whatever is in the past, or whatever the tower is bringing down, to move away from that, especially with the Six of Swords supporting the Nine of Wands. I think the tower came from something that was causing you a lot of worry. And if that is the case for you, it might be a good idea to move on from that now. Let me see what else I can feel coming off of this. So, yeah, I think the Oasis coming for you on the horizon is definitely the Queen of Pentacles. You're definitely navigating significant internal turmoil or disruption in your life, but the Queen of Pentacles energy is grounded stability, nurturing comfort, practical. She's resourceful. She embodies home, security, and caring for others and self. So I'm feeling a lot of comfort and groundedness coming from this pile. And the Tower card, it's after the Nine of Swords. So I think that it's showing that your Oasis is going to come after a sudden or profound, possibly jarring break of old structured beliefs or relationships. So it's going to be hard. If this has not happened yet for you, it's going to rock you, but ground yourself, breathe, whatever helps you, breathe, remind yourself of what you've come through before. Rely on friends if you have people who you feel safe communicating with. Even if it's yourself, you got you. Just breathe through this. You can do this, It's going to be maybe jarring, a little bit chaotic, but it's going to clear the deck. It's going to make space for a new life for you, okay? So, and the Two of Pentacles is card number 4. It talks about juggling responsibilities or adapting to circumstances. Your Oasis, unlike other ones, is less static than the first two. So it's about kind of riding a wave or going with the ebb and flow of chaos. I would say that if this sort of sounds nervous making for you, to try as hard as you possibly can to remind yourself to ground 2 or 3 times a day. So do breathing exercises, a journal practice, walking around the block, taking your 30-minute lunch break outside. Whatever ways you can find groundedness, it's going to be really supportive to you right now. But I do believe you're going to find stability. You're just going to have to maybe do a little bit of more work in order to get there. And what else do I feel coming off of this? I have the Two of Swords supporting the Two of Pentacles, and I feel like there's a big shakeup, but your work isn't done. And I think that still the Oasis is that you're leaving something that wasn't serving you behind, and you're going to be Queen of Pentacles when you do so. You're going to have a sort of stability that you didn't really anticipate, or a sort of stability or self-groundedness that you've never really experienced or even sought out for yourself. So it might sound a little scary, especially if these Nine of Swords things or this Tower hasn't happened for you yet. But I think in the end, it's going to be positive. In order for you to grow, You know, you have to break something sometimes so you can smash them back together, you know? Growth edges, that's what it's called. Yeah, let me see if anything else is popping out for me before I leave you. I think that you are maybe trying to decide between ignoring an opportunity or taking action. There's kind of the stale energy of the Five of Cups, the Six of Swords, the Ace of Wands, this Two of Swords, all the supporting cards. And even the Nine of Swords is kind of like worry, and you're like sitting in the room and you can't get up, and Tower is boom, upheaval. There's kind of this back and forth energy, and Two of Pentacles already juggling, and the Two of Swords, like mental conflict. You can't see which is the right choice to make. I would say that I see that. I think you're going to be great. I think you're going to make the right choice, and I think the right choice involves taking action. It involves taking a step and not letting things be as they are. I'm going to pull a message from Spirit, and these are pre-written by me, and they're just kind of in a bowl on my desk, and see if Spirit has anything to say for you. Oh, wow. I really don't, I'll just read it and you'll tell me what you think. Freedom awaits you on the other side of what you release. So I think that that perfectly goes with what I was just saying. Wow, I'm genuinely like struck by how well that went together. Freedom awaits you on the other side of what you release. So yeah, if you've kind of been stagnant, if you've been self-stagnant for a minute, you know, release things. Allow an upheaval to happen. I think that at the end of this chaos that you're maybe afraid of, there's something better waiting for you, you know? And also, it might just be that you learn to trust yourself through a difficult process. And no one's like biting at the chomp, or however that phrase goes, to have to trust themselves. But I do think it'll be worthwhile. I do think it'll be worthwhile. I'm going to pull one last card to see if there's any message from Spirit for you guys, and then I'll cut it off. Okay, we have Justice, which that takes us into even murkier waters. But again, it's about balance. It's about balancing. And yeah, I think that I have, again, the Three of Swords, Three of Wands, being supported by the King of Wands. It's about taking action. I really do think that if there's something that you're deciding between, choose the one that feels much more creative or makes you feel much more powerful, self-strong, like you feel like that inner fortitude. Choose the choice that makes you feel good. Do not choose anything that continues to make you stagnant. And I will remind you that the Tower comes for everyone, and maybe it's the stagnancy that is bringing the Tower for you if it's not already here in your life. But I really do think that you will feel happy by the choice to take action. You will feel really grateful to yourself, first and foremost. I think it'll help you with your confidence. Okay? So that's all I have for you. Pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me today for What is Your Oasis on the Horizon reading. I truly hope these messages brought you clarity, hope, and excitement for what's ahead. If this reading resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Stoneflower Tarot for more insights, and share it with someone who you think might need to find their own oasis. Until next time, take care, and may you enjoy your journey, and may it be filled with peace and discovery. Bye-bye for now. Talk soon.